everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you've never been here before, and today I wanted to do a little something different. I have lately been listening to Smosh Reddit stories with my sister when we go like yard sailing on the weekends. She's gotten me hooked, and I really today wanted to do something similar. So we're gonna do Am I the Asshole Bookish edition. Yes, I'm going to be reading some Am I the Asshole questions from Reddit and then determine whether that person is an asshole or not. I thought I had the most unique idea ever, but then I did see that there are other bookish creators that have done this before, so search those up and take a look at them because I think they're all pretty fun. But anyways, I wanted to do my own version. So yeah, I have a lot of these, and I also have one from like relationship advice just because I thought it was very prevalent as a romance reader myself. So let's get right into these questions. Okay, so here's the first one. Am I the asshole if I go on my book tour without my family? I mean, right away, I'm gonna say no. Let's see what she says. So my husband and I have been together 15 years and have a 4-year-old. In addition to having a day job and parenting, I'm also an author. My first book is scheduled to come out on next month, and I will be going on a short book tour for 1 week to promote it. Oh, good for her. My husband has always supported my writing, and he wants to go along with me on the book tour and bring our son. Problem is, I really want to go alone. Parenting and daily life is such drudgery, and I'm desperate for a break. I just want to be among like-minded people for a few days and just focus on my book rather than attending to my family's needs as well. It's important to note that we have never been away from our child for even one night, so this is literally the first time either one of us can go somewhere. He wants to make it a family vacation. I just want to be alone without someone needing me. No hounding for food, toys, games. No hounding for attention, sex, etc. from my husband. My husband is hurt about me not wanting him to come along, and my son doesn't want me to leave without him. My husband is also hurt that he's never gotten to go away for any reason, and I get a week away. I told him if he wants to travel for a week going forward, I can solo parent, but that still isn't smoothing things over. Am I the asshole for wanting to do this alone and just be an author and not a wife or mommy? No, you're not an asshole, of course. As a mother myself and a wife, 100% you feel overwhelmed with those roles most of the time, and then you try to add a career on top of it where you're trying to be yourself. No, like your mind is going to be pulled in many different directions on vacation. And you need to be focused on your author duties because that alone is you're gonna be like overwhelmed with just that. And then 4 years old, we all know that kids at 4 are so freaking needy. Yeah, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, like every second of the day. And even though dad is there to take care of things and be supportive, which I love, like it's not gonna be the same. Like consider this a work trip, okay? Tell him it's a work trip. And you wouldn't want your family on a work trip. You need to focus on your work. You know what I mean? There are plenty of other times to do vacations with family. It is totally okay to also want to be alone. Like, I can't tell you, we call my house a loud house because it's just loud all the time. And just being able to have like peace and quiet in a hotel room by yourself, like that alone, needed. Let your wife go. I bet you she will be a happier person when she gets back, and then she'll take care of you, okay? No, this OP is not the asshole. In fact, this was a month ago, so I bet she's on book tour right now. I hope she's having a great time, and then when she gets back, you know, her husband can take his own trip. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, this one is, am I the asshole for calling out my book-obsessed coworker? Okay, book obsessed, like maybe she just reads a lot, like maybe you are an asshole, I don't know. Right away, let's read it and find out. I, a 24 female, have this coworker, mid-20 something female, who I'm not particularly fond of. She is a book lover, which is fine, but personally I always feel like she is talking down to me because of it. The first day I had worked there, she introduced herself at my desk and was talking about something she was reading and asking what I like to read. I told her in a humorous but mostly true way something like, oh, I haven't really read a book since like senior year of high school. She just looked at me with pity. Later on, she would start requesting me books to read, but I just declined, and it soon turned condescending. She would say stuff like, I don't know if you've heard of The Cat in a Hat, but it's a really good book. Bitch. She would say she was joking, but it didn't feel like it. I've been working there for a few months now, and last Friday some of us had gone out together and she was there. I was a few drinks in and she was talking about Moby Dick, and I just blurted out, I read Moby Dick because I had before. She asked when I read it. I told her a few years ago I listened to the audiobook. She was like, okay, so you didn't read it. Okay, this person is not the asshole. The coworker totally is an asshole. We got into a little bit of an argument over it, even though it was all so stupid. She ended up saying to me, no guys are gonna like you if you have to lie to them about things as simple as reading. What? What I said to her in return may have not been my kindest words, I'll admit, but I said something like, look, I know that you really want to, but you can't fuck a book. Oh, you go, girl. She didn't even say a word to me. She just left. I felt really bad at first, but now I don't think what I said was even that messed up. I have been getting texts about it from some of my coworkers. I still haven't talked to her or seen her, and I have been kind of nervous she would tell our boss. Okay, this right here is exactly why you don't make friends with your coworkers outside of work. like don't hang out. Don't do that, because if there's drama, now you've brought it to the workplace, and that's not fun for anybody. Please don't do this. Like, it's totally cool to be friendly with your coworkers, and you're gonna build that relationship because you're around them like what, 8+ hours a day? And but don't do it. It never ends well. It never ends well. No, this OP is not the asshole. Clearly the coworker is that type of reader that if you don't read exactly what she does, even if you're not a reader, which she's like, how can you not read? Like, of course people don't read. Some people watch movies. Some people play video games. There's all certain things that all different people find entertaining. Reading isn't for everybody. Like, it just isn't. We all may be able to read, like a majority of us, but that doesn't mean we like reading for funsies, okay? Some people just don't. Like, my husband does not read. If he reads, he wants to read something that he's learning something from. Like, he has a bunch of poker books because he wanted to learn like poker theory. And there's a lot of different people like that. Like, I only read for fun. That is my primary mode of entertainment. But to like judge somebody about it and then audiobooks aren't reading, don't be that fucking person. You know what I mean? Don't be that person. Oh, I hate that. I hate it. What a jerk, man. This is a situation where, like, if she went back to work, these two people are going to be like at odds with each other so much that one of them is going to quit. One of them is going to quit. Like, it just is going to happen. Am I the asshole for not reading my stepdaughter's favorite book? My stepdaughter and I don't have much in common, but I've worked hard to cultivate a good relationship with her. We even all went to family therapy leading up to and following the wedding so we could make sure we were all on the same page. One thing that came up was my stepdaughter mentioning we don't have much to talk about. The therapist recommended learning about each other's interests. My stepdaughter asked me if I'd like to read her favorite book, and I said that sounded like a good idea. She loaned me one of her copies. She has 3 to read. It's been a few months, but I have made very little progress on this book, and to be honest, mostly given up. It's so boring. Even when I force myself to read it, I find myself not retaining anything because my mind wanders. Fair. I tried to cheat by watching a movie adaptation, which I also didn't enjoy at all, but there's so much stuff missing that she realized I hadn't read the book. Now she's upset and doesn't really want to talk to me. My husband said he gets it, but I should try to force myself to read it or watch the more accurate adaptation, which is 6 hours long. Fuck. My mother-in-law is furious with me and said I'm a bitch and a nasty person for disappointing her granddaughter like this. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just hard to read stuff written with antiquated language about a boring topic. Am I the asshole? So here's the thing. I've been in this situation. My daughter loves warrior cats, okay? She loves warrior cats. And she wants me to read the first book. And she's literally hands it to me and sometimes even throws it at me. She's like, Mom, please read this. It's really good, I promise. It's just not my thing. Like, I can tell my daughter, look, you have your books, I have my books, and it's just not my thing. However, we were in the car sometimes and I put the audiobook on and we just listened to it together. It's not about the book. It's not about the book. The book may bore you, but I do it because I'm a mom and I love my daughter. You know what I mean? Not that this OP doesn't love her stepdaughter, but sometimes you gotta do the boring shit, you know? I hate going to the park. I hate going to the park. I hate taking my kids to the park, but my kids love it. And you know what? I'll take them to the damn park because it makes them happy. And then they'll go, wow, Mom, you're such a good mom for taking me to the stupid park. I'll just have to sit there for an hour and be bored. But you know what? I tell my kids the same thing. Boredom will not kill you. It won't kill you. Being bored doesn't kill you. You know what could really hurt your relationship? Making a promise to your stepdaughter that you guys went to therapy over and then didn't follow through. That to me is an asshole moment. And then you try to lie and watch the movie. Just be honest. That's the whole thing about this. Like, if you were just honest with her from the beginning, you wouldn't have been an asshole. And I don't even really think you're an asshole in this situation, the OP, but it just wasn't cool. You know, it wasn't cool. And you kind of lost a little bit of your leeway that you built up with your stepdaughter because you weren't truthful and honest. And really, man, again, boredom won't kill you. Just read the damn book, okay? Or just tell your stepdaughter, you know, I really couldn't make it through it because I just found it boring. So I'm sure she would be fine. You could be like, you love this and I love that you love it and I'll support you in it. It's just not my thing. We all need to be better about that. You know, we don't have to lie to people. We just be like, that's your thing. That's cool. Not my thing. There's an update on this. I love when there's an update. It's like my favorite. We're going to watch the miniseries together, me, her, and my husband. Good. Also, she loaned me a different book she likes that's shorter and she thinks I'll like more because I like animals, and we'll talk about that. I realized worrying about whether or not I was an asshole was silly. All that matters is mending my relationship with my stepdaughter. Truth. Truth. And see, she just gave you a different book. It's okay. Everything will be okay. Communication, always the key. Am I the asshole for threatening to take away my sister's book from her if she keeps telling our parents what it's about? Why are you telling your parents about your book? Okay, anyway, let's read this one. I'm a strong reader. I read a lot of books, typically ones off Book Talk or well-known romance authors. Ooh, another romance reader. Who are you? I read a lot of romance, murder, mystery, and fantasy books. My sister could not be more opposite, but recently she finished a book I recommended to her and she loved it. I pretty much turned her into me. I brought a few books with me while on holiday so I wouldn't run out of choices while on vacation. My sister started to get into reading, so I gave her a book, which is a romance novel. It was King of Wrath by Anna Huang. She started to read and obviously started to enjoy it. I am also reading a romance novel, which is more of a dark romance genre. It's called Haunting Adeline by H.T. Carlton. I will admit I was hesitant to letting my sister borrow my book because I knew she would make remarks or comments about the romance parts in front of my parents, who are oblivious to the type of books I read. They know it's romance, and I often tell them the plot of books. I really enjoyed leaving out the romance bits. My sister insisted she would not do it and treat it as if it was a normal book, so I let her read it. She did the complete opposite and read parts of the book out loud, which are obviously not appropriate. She would show her boyfriend, and then her boyfriend makes comments, and then she would suggest mom should read my current book, and my mom became curious and tried to snatch the book of me. I told her I paid for it and she can't just snatch a book out of my hands. That's a jerk move when you snatch. I don't like snatchers, okay? I was so annoyed and angry with my sister. She knows exactly what she's doing despite me asking her not to. So many times she doesn't anyway, so I told her, if you keep being immature and doing what you're doing, I'll take away the book and give you something completely different to read instead. I've told you countless times to not be immature about it. If you're 19, for God's sake, grow up. If you do it again, you can buy your own books instead of borrowing mine. This annoyed me, but she knew I was right, and she kept telling me mom and dad wouldn't do anything, and I told her that's not the point. And I meant what I said, so she agreed not to do it again and has stopped, but occasionally will announce that she's reading a sex scene out loud and for everyone to hear, including my mom and dad, and she finds it hilarious. But it's not as annoying as it used to be, but each time I bring it up, she gets annoyed and yells at me. Am I the asshole? In my opinion, your sister is being a total asshole. Just the mere fact that you told her not to talk about it in front of people and she went ahead and did it anyways, total asshole move. And then to read it out loud in front of your mom and dad and boyfriend, like she's just intentionally trying to embarrass you, you know, for making you like the things that you like. That is not a cool move, and she's definitely being very immature. At 19, this is why we call them young adults, because they're young adults. They're baby adults, okay? They may be the right age, but they sure ain't gonna act like it. Like, this is not cool whatsoever, and I totally wouldn't let your sister borrow any of your books anymore, because she's just gonna be a jerk to you about it. Why even give her something like that? You know what I mean? Like, I definitely wouldn't be sharing with my jerk sister anything of mine. It would just be an absolute no. This one is funny because Reddit rated this OP an asshole. Like, I don't see it. I really don't see it. And there is an edit. It says, I really downplayed this, so let me clear up a few things. The reason I threatened to take away the book was because she read sex scenes in public at dinner. Dinner! What kind of dinner conversation is that? I know I'm a spicy romance reader, but I would never. My parents are old, okay? They're old. I'm 40. I would never. Like, it's not appropriate dinner conversation. When we have guests or family over, and when she constantly nudges my parents to ask me what I'm reading, I feel ashamed and embarrassed. And when I don't say anything, she says it's probably a sex scene. After she does this, everyone just goes silent and awkward while she is laughing. It's a total one of those moves where she's making fun of you and then going like this to everyone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a jerk move. She's a bully, man. Get her out of here. No, this OP is not an asshole at all. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my girlfriend's book? A lot of these are like written in a way where you're like, no way, you can never be an asshole for that, right? So my girlfriend, we lived together, wrote, sold, and published her first book. I think that is amazing, and I am very proud of her. I believe that I was very supportive, participated in beta reading, had my hand in text editing, and gave her a bunch of praise and critique. We celebrated when she sold the book to the publisher and all, so I don't believe that I was unsupportive. However, she got very angry today because I refused to buy a physical copy of the book. I said that I just don't get this. We live together. What her argument is, we live in a small country and every copy sold matters and I should show support. I replied that the readers should buy her book, not her partner. Anywho, am I the asshole? First of all, critiquing a book is not, I mean, it's kind of as supportive. It definitely would be supportive, but not in that way that I think that his girlfriend is looking for. When you're a small author, and it doesn't matter where you're from, every sale does matter. And I think as your loved one, yeah, you should buy the book. Like, and I get it. He's like, oh, you're the author. There's going to be copies of this book everywhere. I don't really need it. Like, I don't know that I would be mad at him if he didn't buy the book. Like, that's just me though. Like, I'd be like, yeah, it's not your thing. Like, it's totally okay. But he beta read it, you know what I mean? So he already knows what's in it. I don't know. I think my own husband would 100% buy a book if I wrote it. But again, I also wouldn't force him to. I'm gonna call this one, I am gonna say he's an asshole, like not a big asshole, only because girlfriend is looking for that specifically as support. It's really not like, what are we talking about? Like $5, $10, 20 at the most. Buy the book and then take her out to dinner. And I bet you she will appreciate you a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? like just buy the damn book. It's okay. This one Reddit also rated him an asshole. And I love the edit here that says, thank you good people of Reddit. I guess I am an asshole and a fool. Ah, we'll try to be better. I love that when people recognize that maybe they weren't in the right and they change their tune, whether they were or not. I really don't think this person was a gigantic asshole, but yeah, just buy the book, take her out to dinner, and then go back to the bedroom. Am I the asshole for writing a bad review on a friend's book? Oh, so I kind of frequent the Bookstagram, BookTube, Book Talk sphere enough to make some friends on the platforms. I signed up to be an eARC reader for one of my book friends to get early access of the book, which if you don't know is an electronic advanced reader copy. It's standard in self-publishing, yada, yada, yada. We all know that. In exchange for a free book, you leave an honest review. I read the book and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Ouch, girlfriend, ouch. On your friend's book? Ugh. And in exchange, I wrote a pretty lengthy review of the book, about 1,100 word review. That's a book in itself. Detailing both what I liked and what I thought could be improved, and tried to put an emphasis on the fact that I still want to see the author write more and I still enjoyed the book. The next morning, my author friend DM'd me and said that I thought we were friends. And it's not a good look to leave bad reviews on other indie authors' books. They said that I should have DM'd them beforehand about the review and I should be bringing others up instead of pushing them down. I guess it would have been different if the author were a complete stranger instead of something I'd actually grown a bond with, and I still deleted the review in the end and gave them a 5-star rating for the support. But I don't know, the way it was all resolved doesn't feel right to me. Am I the asshole? Hey, you kinda are. You kinda are. It's not just the fact that you gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It's not just the fact that you didn't like it. You critiqued it in 1,100 words. What the hell? That is like beating a dead horse right there. Like, that is just rude, honestly. You went on and on and on. While you did layer in some kindness in there, it's a 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know about you, but I don't really read reviews that much. I'm gonna be completely honest. I write them. I rarely read them. In fact, I mostly write them for myself so that when I do my wrap up at the end of the month, I remember what the hell the book was about. But reviews are different opinions about the book. Because it was your friend, I probably would just not rate the book at all, because already you have a biased opinion about the book. And so even if you rated it 5 stars, which you did in the end, your review really wouldn't be taken seriously either. And most people aren't going to know that you guys are in a relationship together, not a romantic relationship, but a friendship together. I don't know. I don't think I would ever give one of my friends' books a bad review. If I didn't like it, I would just tell them, oh, I'm so happy for you that you wrote a book. Like, I'm so supportive. This particular one wasn't for me, but like, I want to read the next book. Like, I definitely want to read the next book. And I don't know, I would definitely talk to them before putting it on Goodreads or something like that. I probably just wouldn't rate the book, period. Like, I would just write a review and say, this person has great potential. Leave it at that. I don't know, like, I think you're kind of an asshole for rating your book, your friend's book. I mean, it's your friend. But then I also wouldn't give it like an automatic 5 stars either. I think that's a little disingenuous and I'm not about that life either. So it's like, just don't rate it. You don't have to rate every book. You know what I mean? You just don't. And support your friends. I agree with her. Support your friends. It was kind of a dick move. Don't do that. Am I the asshole for asking the women in my book club to read the book? Oh boy. I really should say, are we the asshole? Okay, so there's more than one assholes in this thing. I have been in a book club for several years. On occasion, someone wouldn't read the book, would only read part of it, or decide they hate it and not finish. But all the members read the book most of the time. About a year ago, our numbers got very low and we decided to find some other women to join. One of the women in another organization that a couple of us belonged to was interested. This snowballed and suddenly several women wanted to join, overriding the original members. This would be fine, except in a year of being in the book club, a number of these women have never once read or even bought or checked out the book from the library. Granted, there has always been a large social aspect. We drink wine, eat appetizers, and gossip, but we still talk about the book. The last meeting, those of us that read the book had a lot to discuss, as it was a very interesting book. But one group of women who did not read the book left the house and went outside as they had nothing to contribute. Several of us seem to have the same idea that these women need to read the book or not be in the book club. At least 3 of us told these women they need to read the book, as this is a book club. Every month they say they do not have time to get or read the books as they are too busy. All of them are retired, whereas almost all the readers have part or full-time jobs. The non-readers ended up leaving early. The readers have offered to do a night out separate from the club, but there has been minimal response. Are we assholes for requiring them to read the book? If you don't read my book, you cannot come to my friend group. You can't sit with us. Listen, to me, physical book clubs are definitely more social engagements. And when you're talking about just getting a group of women together and have wine and food and gossip, that's way more fun than the book. Now, granted, you want to read a book and you want to discuss it because that's kind of what the nature of book clubs are. I totally get it. I totally get it. But like, to sit there and require someone to read the book in order to join the club, I don't know. Like, I definitely join a lot of book clubs online where I never read the book, but I'm interested to hear what other people think of the book, you know? And so I don't mind joining and just listening to them. I can kind of see where they're coming from if they want participation in reading this. What I would say is find a book that maybe they're more interested in reading, something fun, not something heavy or deep or introspective. Switch it up, like maybe find a book that's just pure entertainment, and maybe you'll bring some of those girls in and want to read more fun books. Not everybody wants to read a heavy book and then discuss it in a heavy way, you know what I mean? Yes, maybe they shouldn't be in the book club, but it sounds like they left so that the discussion could go on without them and they wouldn't be, you know, distracting to them. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they're the assholes in this one. But also I think this is easily fixed with just like setting expectations that like this time of night is for social gathering and then this time of night is for the actual book discussion. You're just always gonna get people who don't read the book and it's fine. So just make it clear that like this part is food and hanging out, because I think we all need that. Like we all need a friend group. Sometimes, like, I mean, she's saying that these people are retired. Maybe they're lonely. Maybe they're lonely and just want to like talk to somebody, but yet they're not really like book people. You know what I mean? Like, let them come and hang out and be friendly and just spread kindness. Like, if they don't read the book, that's cool. They can go home later. Like, I don't know. I would never start a book club where you like, if you don't read the book, you're out of here. Like, that's just not me. So I'm gonna say that these people are the asshole, even though I think this is totally fixable and totally overcome. And I know the people who wrote this probably would do the same. Update. Again, I love a good update. The OG book club members decided that if you plan to attend, please read one chapter or have previously read the book in the interest of having a stimulating discussion with all members. One woman has already dropped out. No word yet from the other non-readers. Yeah, because you're like, oh, you have nothing to contribute. You're an idiot. You know, that's the kind of feeling I get from this OP. I just would never. That's a smarmy book club. Nobody wants to be part of a smarmy book club. You know what I mean? This last one is from the Reddit relationship advice. And I wanted to put this in here because it does have to do with a romance reader. So, feeling insecure about my girlfriend's book porn obsession. What should I do? I, 24 male, am hoping someone out there can offer some advice or just listen to my venting session. I've been with my amazing girlfriend for a little over a year now, and overall, our relationship is fantastic. We communicate well, share similar interests, and generally care about each other. However, there's this one thing that's started to bother me lately. She's super into these book talk books, you know, the ones with explicit sex scenes that get popular on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cute at first when she'd blush and giggle while reading them, but as time went on, I started noticing she gets really into these stories, like turned on into it level. I've even caught her touching herself while reading. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging, but it made me feel uneasy. The thing is, I've tried talking to her about how this makes me feel, like I'm being replaced by fictional characters, or that she's more excited about these books than our own intimacy. She just brushes it off, saying I need to work on my flirting, and then I'm being jealous of fictional men. But here's the thing, when we first started dating, she asked me to stop watching porn, and I did, out of respect for her feelings. Now, when I ask her to tone down the steamy book reading, or at least not do it in front of me, she refuses. She claims it's not the same as porn and that I'm being controlling. But honestly, it feels like there's this whole other world she's escaping into, one where I'm not a part of. I love my girlfriend and I don't want to come across as possessive or insecure, although let's be real, I am feeling a bit of both. Has anyone else dealt with something similar? Should I just suck it up and accept this is her thing? Or are there some valid concerns here that need addressing? First of all, the tingles, okay? I think as romance readers, eventually, especially when you're reading spicy books, you're at some point gonna get the tingles from the writing. The writing is that good that sometimes, yeah, arousal happens. Like, it's a bodily function. It's gonna happen from reading that kind of material. What I would say is, hun, use it. She's primed. She's primed. Get in there and make your move, man. Make your move. Use it. Instead of complaining about it, use it. Use it to your advantage and get in there. Okay, I don't know. Like, to me, this ain't a book problem. This is a relationship problem where you're feeling insecure because her attention is not on you all the time and she's feeling arousal from something other than you. That doesn't mean anything. Like, that doesn't mean anything. She's not gonna go cheat on you or anything right away. You know what I mean? That's just not where it goes. She's just reading sexy material. It happens. Use it. You know, I understand where you're coming from, especially if she's like, don't watch porn. Romance isn't porn. Romance is about relationship building mostly, but there are sex scenes in it, and I get where you're coming from. A lot of the things on Book Talk, they only talk about the sex scenes, and they only promote the quotes and everything like that. So I can get where people see that it's porn, but most of the book is usually not about that. Unless you're reading straight erotica, it's not porn. It just isn't. Not all sex is porn. Like there's just difference. When you watch a rated R movie, you know what I mean? Or NC-17 movie, is that movie only about sex? I mean, I watched 365 Days, okay? And there is some risque things in that movie, but I wouldn't say that movie is porn. There's definitely a story there that isn't just about the sexual relationship. So I would say, don't feel insecure about this. Use it. Okay? Also, talk to your girlfriend again and just say, you just saying I'm jealous of fictional men is kind of blowing me off, and that's not respectful either. Like, you definitely should have an open relationship about it. Tell her, you know, I know you probably already said it is making me feel insecure, but find a solution for that instead of just going, oh, you know, get over it. You know, I feel like that in a way is gaslighting a little bit, whether it's from her or you. Like, find a solution. Work on a solution rather than the problem. You know what I mean? This one has an edit, a very long edit. I want to clarify some things since the discussion has taken a weird turn. I need to read the comments on this one. Firstly, I need to correct some assumptions. When I mentioned giving up watching porn early on in our relationship, I didn't mean I used to watch live women having sex. To be honest, I never felt comfortable with that aspect of the industry, and out of respect for my partner and women involved, I stuck to animated porn shows. So let's please set aside any discussion about the dark side of the porn industry. It's not relevant here. I agree. There's no relevance there. This is simply about two fictional mediums, my old preference for animated porn and my girlfriend's love for book talk books and erotic fanfic sex scenes featuring characters from those books. The issue is that she wasn't comfortable with my choice, and I respected her boundaries by giving it up. Now when I ask her to be more considerate of my feelings regarding her reading material, she refuses. To add some context, it's not just the steamy scenes in the book talk book that bothers me, it's also the fact that she actively seeks out and reads pure erotic fanfic sex scenes featuring characters from those books. It feels like there's this whole other world she's escaping into where I'm not Then join her! Then be like, read the book with her. Listen, I read a freaking book about a mantis, okay? I mostly read those books because they make me laugh. They bring me some enjoyment in my freaking life. You know what I mean? Read them with her. I want to reiterate my goal here isn't to shame or control her reading habits, but to find a middle ground where we can both feel comfortable and respected in our relationship. Any advice on how to approach this? Again, my advice would just be to use it. Okay, use it. She's giving you a gift. She's done the work herself for you. You just have to continue on. You jump in and continue on, okay? Not all romance books are gonna give you the tingles, you know what I mean? Some of them really are, you just wanna get lost in a fantasy world, especially lately with how the real world is. It's so stressful. You know what I mean? So stressful. Every single moment of the day, something is trying to make you feel upset. I can't even watch news anymore. It just makes me feel upset. Everything out there is trying to kill my kids. Okay, this is from a person who has major anxiety issues. Let me escape into a world where people just love each other and have fun and show it physically and emotionally, okay? Obviously, I'm always gonna say communication here is the key. If it really bothers you that much, she's not gonna change, neither are you. Maybe you shouldn't be together. You guys are young. These people are 24 and 21. I did not even get in a serious relationship until my 30s, okay? Have fun. But again, this ain't the book's problem. This ain't about the books. This ain't about the porn, okay? I agree with him, it's about boundaries. You set a boundary, she crossed it. She set a boundary, you didn't cross it. You set a boundary, she crossed it. So there was a limit there of what you specifically told someone to do, and it didn't happen. No wonder you're upset. Like, no, that is specifically the reason you're upset. It ain't about the book. It ain't about the book. It ain't about the porn. It ain't about none of that. It's about the fact that you told her to do something, she did it anyways. And I get it. Totally get it. I'd be pissed too. But like, all I could say is reading is joy. Okay, reading is joy. And just, you know what? If she gets in that mood sometimes and you're watching her, jump in, man. Jump in. All right, those are all the stories that I have for you today. Let me know if you want me to do this again. I have found like so many of them, and honestly, they're all pretty fun to discuss. I also think this would be fun to do as a live show. So if y'all want to join me for a live show, we can all read Am I the Asshole posts and then talk and discuss about it. Let me know, because I think that would be totally fun. Anyways, thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.